Whether you're joining one of our events for the first time or if you're a seasoned regular, welcome to the Developer Marketing Summit. We have an incredible selection of innovative content lined up for you today, but before we dive in, I just want to say a huge thank you to our sponsors, speakers and you, our lovely audience, for joining us. From wherever in the world you are watching, we're sure you'll enjoy today's talks. To get the most out of these sessions, please make sure you're asking your questions in the comment section for our speakers to answer. Each of today's sessions recordings will be uploaded into our on-demand content library, which you can access with a DMA Pro membership. As some of you may already know, Developer Marketing Alliance has now launched as its very own community. I'll be sharing the links to check out our new membership and Slack community, so be sure to keep an eye on the chat. With all this to look forward to, let's get started.
Hello, I'm Ridhima and I lead developer marketing for Amazon Web Services India and South Asia. I've been associated with AWS since over 1.5 years now, and I have been into tech marketing for over a decade. And in fact, out of which the last 4 years have been dedicated to developer marketing. So prior to working with Amazon, I was actually working with Google in the similar developer marketing role. And do you know what was the first thing that I learned when I joined the developer marketing role? Any wild guesses? Well, you will be shocked to see this. Yep, developers actually hate marketing. I know this sounds really crazy, and especially for the marketing folks like us, but trust me, it's true. Traditional marketing just doesn't work for them. You send them a newsletter, they'll send it to junk. Show them a digital ad and they'll move past it. So it becomes actually very, very tricky to attract developer audience with the traditional methods. However, if marketing done properly, you can get to the next level, which is your product adoption and brand advocacy on your behalf. So what do you think these developers are really looking for? They want to build their skills. They want your product to solve their techie problems. They want to meet like-minded folks. And in fact, most importantly, they want to be recognized for the contribution that they are making to developing the right products. So how do we build awareness and earn their trust? Communities. As a developer marketer, we all know how building a developer community is so important. Developers are looking forward to connecting with other fellow developers to build their skills, learn new things, or just plain networking. So creating a community and building a real relationship with these developers, and most importantly, building a mechanism where these developers can learn more about your products, give feedback, adopt them, and in fact, ultimately act as an influencer on your behalf. That is really the most important KPI for a developer or a community manager. But hold on, this is something you would already know it, right? So I do not want to get a lot into detail of community building. But this is what I'm going to talk today, that how can you level up your engagement within the community with storytelling? Every brand is building a community, but what is it that storytelling does? Storytelling is an incredibly valuable tool that you can add to your developer marketing toolbox. In fact, everybody has a story to tell, but the art of storytelling can make a story really transformative. But before that, we talk about it in detail. Let's just understand why storytelling really matters. Do you remember the time when our teachers used to tell us stories to illustrate examples for especially the difficult lessons? And remember how we used to use our imagination to understand these complex ideas better? That's exactly what storytelling does. It just simplifies complex messages and helps us understand the messaging really better. And what a good story also do, it actually brings people together. We all process emotions and can share a feeling of elation, hope, despair, happiness, sadness all together, right? So sharing a story can actually give even the most diverse people a sense of community. So, in fact, for instance, um, everybody knows Coca Cola, right? So, Coca Cola never advertises how Coca Cola is beneficial, or rather, in fact, it's harmful for your health. But what it does is it plays on emotions that a bottle of Coca Cola can open up happiness. And it actually helps people to resonate with their brand better. And in fact, tapping into human emotions can also help you inspire and motivate people, and in fact, eventually take the desired action that you want them to take. Last but not the least, a good storytelling can actually help to market your brand in a very subtle way. Right? It is not the in your face type of marketing, but it actually gives a very nice shape to your brand and position your story in a way that it is not just about your brand, but it is also about your target audience. So it is the message and how you narrate a story that really matters. So we've understood why a good story matters, but now talking about the developers in the developer context, what do you think that what makes a good story for developers? So I think first and foremost, a clear narrative is really, really essential. You know, setting up the context, the background, the characters, everything is really key for people to be able to imagine what is happening with your story is really, really essential. But is it enough to just tell a story? No. So, storytelling that actually resonates with developers requires attention, you know, and there could be many ways to grab attention and keep an audience attention in a story. So, for example, creating suspense can be one option. Stories that are full of mystery can be exciting for your audience, or maybe surprising your audience with a surprising element, right? To have that kind of pull so that people are hooked to your story. But having that element of attention is necessary to spark the interest, no matter what your attention grabbing technique is, right? So, for example, I'll give you an instance. For example, if you are about to launch a product, right? Showcase, let's say, how one of your team member has been working on that product and how that person came up with an idea. Show the challenges, how they worked on it, and how they came up with the solution. And when you show that story, people are able to relate to that much, much better, right? While talking to developers, remember one thing, it's not about you, it's about them. Right? So rather than talking about what are the benefits of your product, like a sales pitch, just showcase how other people are solving problems using your product. Please do not make it a sales pitch. Otherwise, people will lose their interest and they would be like, okay, this is another salesy ad. I don't want to see it. Instead, what you can do is show how other people are taking advantage of the same, which can, in fact, make it much more relatable for the developers. In fact, they might be just stuck in the similar situation. And if you tell them, like, hey, see, this is how Jones level up in his career by using your product. And so you can also do the same. Chances are that he will also use your solution. Lastly, a subtle call to action like reserve a seat for the event or learn more about this in a detailed tutorial. This will help you greatly increasing your ROI to the story that you created. Okay, so I think I've done a lot of rambling right now. Enough of me just telling you things in theory. Why not showcase you a story and tell you how AWS is leveraging storytelling for community? So last year we piloted a campaign called Developers of AWS, where we showcased story of four developers coming from various backgrounds, breaking stereotypes, and ultimately how AWS community helped them level up in their careers. So it was less technical, more inspirational, and actually helped developers resonate with their stories, with their own lives much better. So let me just quickly play out a video for you and show you example of the story, one of the stories that we did.
From humble beginnings in a small town of Tamil Nadu to making a mark in IT industry and representing India at AWS reInvent Las Vegas, it has been a long and amazing journey. All this while parenting two high energy boys. வணக்கம், என் பெயர் புவனேஸ்வரி சுப்பிரமணி. இன்ஃபர் நிறுவனத்தில் பொறியியல் செயல்பாடுகளின் இயக்குனராக பணிபுரிகிறேன். Hailing from a farming background with a loving sister and super supportive parents, I was the first one in the family to graduate. In 2012, I joined my present employer Infor and actively participated in all internal presentations. In addition to that, I deliver guest lecture on tech topics at engineering colleges across Tamil Nadu. I realized that there is a lot of potential in getting deeper into the AWS technology, hence joined AWS User Group Bengaluru and pursued various AWS certifications. I was the only women speaker at the first AWS Community Day in India. To promote more women in tech, I volunteered to run community days. In 2018, I was selected for AWS Diversity Scholarship. I was one of the 5 women to be selected for this opportunity globally. It was a life-changing moment for me. In June 2019, I became the first women AWS hero from India and AWS DevTools hero in November 2020. It was a big honor. To the women out there, I would say, never give up your individuality. Create your own identity. Every day is new. Innovation is inevitable. There is no pre-written rule to balance your personal and professional life. Enjoy as it comes.
Interesting, isn't it? So, in fact, these stories, when we created, went viral. And in fact, we received an overwhelming response with over 1 million plus video views and over 300,000 engagement. And you know why this campaign really worked well for us? We received a tremendous amount of feedbacks and comments. And out of that, one of the common thread that we saw was how people are commenting that everybody is able to relate these stories because at some level everyone have experienced these similar experiences and challenges in their personal and professional lives, like how, if you've seen, Bhuvneshwari talks about she was the first one in her family to graduate and how she started with a male dominated IT industry and yet she was able to represent on a global level, and she represents that underrepresented women in tech at large, right? So she is really talking to women who are struggling in terms of balancing the personal and professional life, and that is something that really resonated with the audience so well. And if you see, the hero of the story is the developer. Bhuvaneshwari. We are not really talking about what AWS does, what are the features of community programs. No, she is telling her own story. And that is how the narrative, which shows her own individual journey, the challenges, the breaking stereotypes, and how she leveled up in her career after being part of the community really worked well for us. And to that, we added a very subtle call to action: join the AWS community, right? So this whole helped us in creating that emotional connect with our developer audience. In fact, I recall one moment which Bhuvaneshwari mentioned it to me. So last year, when we launched this campaign, after the campaign, Bhuvaneshwari was traveling to attend reInvent, which is AWS's global event in Las Vegas every year. So when she was traveling, people started recognizing her. She was at the Las Vegas airport, and people started coming and clicking selfies with her because people started recognizing her from the video. And that was the moment she felt so overwhelmed. And when she told me, I had goosebumps because I could actually feel that, okay, so what is the kind of impact these videos have actually brought? This has actually got the well deserved recognition for these developers, right? So this actually something which stayed in our heart, and which every developer could resonate with. So with this, we actually come to the end of the presentation. So let me just quickly summarize what you learned today. Well, traditional marketing doesn't attract developers. They are looking for upskilling themselves, connecting with their peers, and finding solutions to the tech problems. So building a developer community is critical. But hey, every developer marketing person out there is working on building a community. So what differently are you doing? How are you leveling up your engagement with the community? So we're all humans, right? And everyone has a story to tell. So what are you doing to do that? So tap into human emotions and build a story that developers can relate to. Last but not the least, make developers the hero of the story, not your brand. It will resonate more with the developers, and you are able to get the desired results. So happy to take any questions that you may have. Thank you. So this was it from my end. Thank you for being a great audience. I hope you found this content helpful. Please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or Twitter, and I'll be more than happy to chat with you on developer marketing. Thank you.